Hey guys, hello, 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 and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Kate, and I make ASMR content. Yeah, thank you for being here. It's been a couple of months since I made a video. It is what it is. I'm not gonna be like, here's why I've been gone. But I am here to talk about the Oscar nominations, the Academy Awards, and specifically the nominations for Best Picture. That's all I'm going to talk about here, although I have a lot of thoughts about the other awards. But I do plan on making a video next week after the Academy Awards to talk about my thoughts, maybe review some looks from the evening and talk about certain awards. But I want to give you my ranking of the 10 films nominated for Best Picture. My personal ranking, not my ranking of who I think is going to win, because I think we all know that it's going to be Oppenheimer for Best Picture, but just to give you my ranking. So I will start this by saying there are two films on this list I've not seen yet. One, I literally have paused. I'm about to watch it. And the other one I'm seeing in the theater on Sunday afternoon. And the Oscars are Sunday night. So I will insert clips of my little review after I see those films. But I actually made my ranking and I put the two remaining films based on where I think they will go. Just based on what I know about the film, based on reviews that I've seen. I've not seen any spoiler reviews. I have steered clear of spoilers. But just based on what the film is about and what I think. And the two that I've yet to see are American Fiction, which is the one I'm about to watch, and actually Oppenheimer, I've not seen. For me, I was very adamant that I wanted to see Oppenheimer specifically in the theater. Some of these I've seen in theaters, some of them I've not seen in theaters, but Oppenheimer seems like one that you gotta see in the theater. It's just kind of like the vibe I'm getting when people are talking about the sound and just the experience of it. But yeah, I will say there's only one movie on this list that I did not like, so that's good. But yeah, I'm really excited about the Oscars. I'm really excited to feel like I have real input, since I'll have actually seen, I think this will be the first time I've ever seen every film nominated for Best Picture. And I've been watching a ton of content lately of other people ranking theirs, but I've actually not seen anybody do it in an ASMR sort of soft format without edit cuts and like with clips of the films, which I love, but like just more of like a chill, relaxed type of video. So I'm gonna do that, and like I said, I will insert clips to add to this after I watch American Fiction and Oppie. But yeah, let's talk about it and start with my number 10. Also, I'm not going to give any spoilers, just in case. So, at number 10, which I feel like this has been everybody's number 10, is Maestro. You guys, I hated Maestro. I actually did not make it through the whole movie. I got about halfway and I literally turned it off because I just wasn't enjoying it at all. And here's the thing. This one I was watching at home. I don't even know if it was in theaters. Was it straight to Netflix? No, it must have been in theaters, but I was watching it on Netflix. I expected to like this one a lot just because I love Bradley Cooper. Who doesn't? And oh, my kitty's here. I love Bradley Cooper. And I also grew up in the orchestra. I am a violinist, and I also was in theater. So I'm very familiar with Bernstein's work. Not really anything about his life. I'm also a Jew, so there's a kinship. But there was nothing like on the outside that would seem like this seemed like a movie that I would love, and I was really excited about it. The pacing was weird. I felt like I don't even remember her name. Leonard's wife. So, I mean, it's Carey Mulligan. She's played by Carey Mulligan, so I'll just say Carey. But I felt like Ben and Carey, like, Ben? Why am I saying Ben? Lenny? Maybe ben, Bradley and Lenny is Ben? I don't know. It's been a long day, you guys. It's been a long day. Okay, I felt like Leonard and Carey and like met, and then they were just like in love. Like we got like a little bit of their beginning, but like all of a sudden they were just married. And you know, I just felt like it was jumping around a lot. Like I feel like it didn't really make sense. Also the black and white, so unnecessary. Like it just felt kind of, I don't know, I just wasn't into it. I was not connected to the characters. I didn't feel connected to the storyline. I just didn't like it. So for me, that was an easy number 10. My bottom couple are pretty easy for me, and then it's like the top half that gets tough. Okay. At number 9, is Barbie. So I saw Barbie in the theaters literally like the weekend it came out, and I will say I really, really enjoyed the movie on my first watch. I think that's where I failed. I should not have watched it again. I loved it on my first watch. I mean, everybody's talked about Barbie and it's been out for a long time, so I'm not gonna like give you a Barbie review. I liked it for the reasons a lot of people liked it. I thought it was really fun. I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was really smart. A lot of the dialogue, a lot of the choices that were made, and obviously it's just a very like visually pleasing film. I did have some issues with some things, but where it broke down for me is I think its rewatch value is terrible. I tried to watch it again. My boyfriend wanted to watch it, and so I tried watching it at home with him, and the entire time I was just like, I was not vibing with Barbie. It felt tired. I was like over it. Like I feel like the novelty of it had worn off, and I also just think maybe everybody talking about it in the media and seeing so many videos about it and people talking about it, maybe that sort of like tired me out. Maybe that tired me out. I'm not sure, but I think just to me, it was a cool movie. It was different. It was a cool concept. You know, it's kind of like a one-of-a-kind thing, but I don't think it said anything new. Not that a film needs to say anything new to be great, but you know, I just I think it, you know, I like a movie that really makes me not that there's nothing emotional about Barbie, because I did have some emotional moments, but I really like a movie that makes me feel immersed and makes me, you know, I connect to the characters, and I just don't really have a lot of that personally in Barbie. So that was my number 9. Number 8. I think this is an unpopular opinion based on a lot of reviews and ranking videos I've seen. And my number 8 is Past Lives. I actually almost put this at number 9. I think it's about equal with Barbie for me. Past Lives I also did not see in theaters. I watched it on Netflix or HBO or wherever it was. I don't recall, but I streamed it at home. I don't think it was anything special. I thought it was a great romantic drama. It was emotional, but it didn't really like grip me. It was like, I was like, oh, that's nice. That's kind of how I felt. The storyline with the like past love and the husband, I was bothered by. I really was like rooting for the husband. I know that's not the point, but I don't like how it progressed and then resolved. Personally, I thought Greta Lee was fantastic. I think she really like, I believed her. I really believed her in the role. But I don't think that like visually it was anything. There were a couple of scenes that I thought were great, but like it was a good movie. I'd like to watch it again at some point, but I just don't think that it measures up to a lot of these other stories. I just don't think it measures up. So that's my number 8. I think. So I'm guessing American Fiction will be my number 7, just based on how I feel about my top, the top half. And what I know that American Fiction is about and the genre that I know that it's in. So I'm going to put it right here as a number 7, but I will pop back in to let you know. Okay, we're in my car, obviously. It's the next day, and I watched American Fiction last night. I'm doing this at a weird time, and that's why I'm in my car, because I'm just not going to be home today. Here's my thoughts. I think I would rank it where I said. I think I liked it more than Past Lives, less than Holdovers. Is that what I said? Did I put Holdovers at 7? Or no, I'm putting this at 7, then I put Holdovers at 6. Yes, okay. I think I liked it more than Past Lives, but it would be really close. Like, I think for me, Past Lives, Barbie, no. I agree with my ranking. I was gonna say Barbie is not better than American Fiction. I don't think that it's comparable in any way. Here's what I like about American Fiction. I like that it was, I don't want to get flack for this on the internet, but I like that it was anti-woke. I'm not a wokeness person. I just, I'm not going to speak much more on it than that, but the premise was a little bit different than what I thought. I guess the tone was different than what I thought. I did like it a lot. And here's the thing, the reason I gave this film 3 stars, which is also what I gave to Barbie and Past Lives. I gave this film 3 stars. And I think one of them is for Sterling K. Brown. One of them is for Jeffrey Wright, and one of them is for the family dynamic and anti-wokeness. I think that this film, I think it was lackluster in some ways, but I also found it pretty impactful. I wish that it focused a little bit more on the family dynamics, a little bit more on all of the relationships, because I found those to be much more interesting than like the writer plot line. So I wish that we got more of that and less of like the main character meeting with the executives, and I understand why they did it that way, but to me, there was more interesting storylines that I wish were further explored. So that is why I feel confident putting it at 7. I did really enjoy it, but I felt like the main point is not what I wanted not the main point, but the main story is not what I wanted it to be. I've also decided, as you're watching this, I'm not going to put Oppenheimer in this video. I'm not going to see Oppenheimer in theaters until a few hours before the Oscars. And I want to be able to upload the video like before the Oscars come out, because that's when people are wanting this content. So I want to, you should be watching this on a Friday or Saturday. Oscars are on a Sunday. I'm filming this on a Friday morning. I'm going to post the video today. And I'm going to talk about my Oppenheimer thoughts when I make a follow-up Oscars video next week. So I'm going to make a follow-up next week where I sort of like react to the Oscars. I'm going to try to get some like raw reactions because I'm going to be watching it by myself at home on the couch in my pajamas. So I'm going to try to get some like raw reactions, and then I will come back on and talk about the actual awards and the actual show and all of that next week, which I will sort of lump my thoughts about Oppenheimer in. And I want Oppenheimer to settle. I like to sleep on a film before I like review it and talk about it. So that's where we're at. And with that, on to number 6. Sitting at my current number 6 position is holdovers. So holdovers I liked. I've grown to like it more after watching it, if that makes sense. It's one that the more I think about it, the more I like it, and I will definitely watch it again at some point, probably like within the year. This one I also watched at home. I streamed it, so I did not see it in theaters. Did I say what other ones? Yeah, I said it. I just want to make sure I said where I watched the other ones. I liked the holdovers. I love Paul Giamatti, first of all. I loved the sort of like simplicity of it. It was very like Good Will Hunting vibes. Not as good as Good Will Hunting, but you know, just like the private school and like the teacher, the professor that's like the mentor to the boy who is troubled and has a, you know, doesn't really have a good family life. You know, very Good Will Hunting, very Dead Poets Society, very oh, there's another one I'm thinking of. Just that similar type of feel, which I love. I love a troubled soul and a teacher mentor. I was a troubled soul in my youth, and I had many a professor or a teacher that I felt like saw me, and I still encountered that even now, like in law school, as somebody in my mid-20s. I can definitely relate and identify, and now I can relate to it on the side of the mentor, just because I have young siblings, and you know, I understand the importance of those types of roles. And I thought the holdovers was great. I also am such a winter person. I loved all of the snow and sort of like the aesthetic. I thought Paul Giamatti was excellent. I wish he were still like in the active running for best actor, but yeah, I really liked the holdovers. I mean, I like I said, I pretty much like all of these movies, so it's hard to, you know, it's hard. I really like the holdovers though. Great story. Okay, so now we're into the top 5, and again, I placed Oppenheimer where I think it's gonna go. I'm assuming it'll be in my top half. So we're in the top half for all intents and purposes. Number 5, which my number 4 and number 5 could totally switch, but I think my number 5 is Zone of Interest. Zone of Interest. So, I saw Zone of Interest in the theater, and wow, packed a punch. Very glad I saw it in the theater. I think like there are certain films that you've got to see them in the theater, and certain ones where it doesn't matter and they will still pack a punch and they will still feel the same at home. And I think a lot of that has to do with the sound design, and just the type of, sorry, I'm like kind of a film bro, but I don't know all the terminology. So, you know, if I say something that sounds dumb, just ignore it and move on. Please don't correct me because I'm sensitive. The sound design, and then just like the way that it's shot, like the style of the cinematography, I guess. I'm not trying to sound pretentious. There's just no way to talk about films without sounding pretentious. It just is what it is. I'm so sorry. If you don't like that, you've probably clicked off by now. If you don't like when people talk about films pretentiously, then you probably don't care about the Academy Awards. So anyways, if you're still here, thanks for being here, you pretentious goose. And if you haven't already by this point, please comment your personal ranking and your thoughts. But anyways, Zone of Interest, stunning, stunning, stunning. It should definitely win sound design based on the films that I've watched already in this list. My cat is demanding my attention because I've been gone all day. So I'm gonna give it to her. I'm going to oblige. Anything for my children. So, Zone of Interest. Wow, who would have thought that a Nazi movie would be heavy and hard to stomach? Like the fact that you don't actually see any Jewish people in a Holocaust movie, wild. Like, it was so not what I was expecting. And I went into most of these movies pretty blind and didn't like look into them, research, read about them at all before I saw them, unless, you know, sometimes you can't help it. But Zone of Interest, I went into totally blind. I didn't know the premise, but wow, I mean, the feeling of unsettled and just like booty clenched for 2 hours or however long it is. I was so viscerally uncomfortable the entire time I was watching, which I think I love that feeling of watching. You know, so many people love that feeling of watching something or reading something where you're just like, you know. It was one of those where when the movie ended, everybody in the theater was silent and nobody moved. Everyone was just like, and if you've seen it, you know that like the last 10 minutes of the film, like just so intense. And how about Sandra Hüller? Is it Hüller or Hüller? We're gonna talk a lot about her again in a few minutes. How about Sandra? How about the writing of this? Like, just, you know, we're just skirting around. It's like a, you know, like a family dinner. Like, I know how some families, like, they don't actually talk about their problems. They just sort of like dance around them. They dance around them. That is what Zone of Interest is, but like on a huge, huge, huge scale. Evil, sick stuff. And I loved every second of it. So great. And I was so taken by Zone of Interest when I saw it that I can't believe it is number 5. That's how much I love this top 5. Again, including Oppenheimer, which I haven't seen yet, but I'm just assuming is going to be in my top 5. Okay, so at 4. At 4, I have Killers of the Flower Moon. Killers of the Flower Moon. Killers of the Flower Moon. Honestly, pretty freaking good. Scorsese, Lily Gladstone in this. Lily Gladstone makes this film. Imagine being in a film with Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro and still being the star. I mean, she just like so raw, so real. And you know, I wasn't familiar with the story of the Osage at all. Not familiar at all. So I mean, like, what? It's just like an incredible story. You know, and so much tragedy that these people suffered, and to really just be like, I mean, pounded by trauma and death and sickness and murder and oh my god, just for 3 hours. It's because the last half hour, you know, you already knew it was happening. This is a very long film. Everybody's criticized it for how long it is, including myself. I'm not going to go into the whole thing about how long it is. I just think it's too long. But I do think the first hour and a half, the last hour, it was just sort of in the middle where it got muddy for me. It's just hard to keep the pacing and keep consistent for that, like 3.5 hours. But it's Martin Scorsese. Scorsese does long epic films. But he's universally beloved for a reason. So, incredible storytelling. I really love the soundtrack in this too, which surprised me. I wasn't expecting to love the sound so much. Also loved watching Leo play somebody like kind of dumb, because he's always like, not to say he wasn't at fault, because he was totally a villain in this, but he's usually like the mastermind. So I loved getting to see him sort of like doing someone else's bidding. That was kind of nice. But I mean, if Lily Gladstone, I really do, it's hard because she's up against someone else for Best Actress, and I can't decide who I think should take it. But I just was thoroughly impressed with her, and I want to see more from her. I don't know what else she's in, but I want to see all of it. I want to drink her in. So, amazing. At number 3, this is where I'm guessing Oppenheimer is going to go. Just a guess. I'll fill it in, but that is my prediction for my Oppie ranking. I don't know why I'm calling it Oppie. I've never heard anybody call it Oppie, but I am. Hopefully it's not a Floppenheimer. I don't know, but let's move on. Okay. My top 2 was pretty hard to order for me, but I think at number 2 I would put Poor Things. So, visually astounding. Visually astounding. I could just watch this film on mute and enjoy it. And I can't wait to watch it again. I saw this in the theater, and this was definitely one that like required seeing it in the theater, which is, I mean, that's my opinion, but like, I love Mark Ruffalo, and I love Emma Stone, and I love Willem Dafoe. So I knew I was gonna be into this. I didn't really know what it was about. I knew it was like a sort of Frankenstein kind of vibe. Just that she was like a child in an adult body. Sorry, my ears are really itchy. I don't know why. I mean, Emma Stone, she was so good in this, and she is, I mean, I've watched a million interviews of her talking about this film, because I just don't know how she did it. Her and Yorgos Lanthimos. This was the first Yorgos Lanthimos film that I've watched in its entirety. I've seen bits of The Lobster, and I remember not liking it. And I've seen bits of Killing of a Sacred Deer, and I remember not liking it. But I loved this. A lot of people I've seen some critiques I don't really want to talk about those because I don't agree. I loved this film. This is one of the best I've seen in a long time. I really related to and was gripped by Bella, by the character. And I connected to these characters and I felt for them. I mean, there weren't that many characters to feel for, but I really felt like I connected. I loved this sort of like hero's journey, Bella's evolution, Father God's evolution, Mark Ruffalo playing this sort of like scroungy. I've never just seen him play like this like asshole kind of character, and I ate it up. I just really liked this a lot. This is the one I've seen the most recently, so I'm still like about it. I'm still shook. I know this has been like really hit or miss. I know a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it. I am in the love it camp. So before I talk about my number one, which you already know what it is by process of a limb, I'm gonna tell you what my favorite film was of 2023, because guess what? It's not on this list. My favorite film of 2023 was The Iron Claw, okay? And I will never get over the fact that it did not get any nominations. I won't get over it. Actually, I'm pretty sure my Letterboxd review of Past Lives was, you're telling me this got a Best Picture nom, but Iron Claw did not. If you guys want to follow me on Letterboxd, I'll put my account or my username in the description. But yeah, I loved Iron Claw so much. I sobbed like a baby in the theater, and I was gripped. And not just by Zac Efron and Jeremy Allen White's thighs. And their arms. But I loved it so much, and I saw that in theaters too. But anyways, that's not what this is about. But that's number one in my heart. But number one in real life for me was Anatomy of a Fall. I loved Anatomy of a Fall. This one I did not see in theaters. I watched this one at home. Again, Sandra Hüller. How about the dog? Can we talk about Snoop? Can we talk about the performance of the dog? Iconic. Absolutely iconic. The dog should win all the Oscars. Every single one. Anatomy of a Fall. I will say I am partial to courtroom dramas, mystery type of stuff. So that could be a factor. But also, I loved sort of the intangibility of this one, and how you could never really tell what was real, and everything seemed possible, but nothing seemed plausible. And you know, I loved this character of Sandra. The character's name is Sandra, same as the actress. I loved this character of Sandra, and I know that a lot of people talked about how she was not likable and she wasn't very warm, and stop. I loved that she did not put on a show. She was a strong woman. We saw some moments of vulnerability, not in front of her child, just sort of like, I saw this portrait of this woman who has been through it. She's been through it. And I saw her just, you know, not being this damsel in distress, and just, you know, getting through it, dealing with her trauma, and being practical, and just, it may be a little cold and unfeeling, but she just felt very real to me. And this sort of like portrait of this relationship, which is deeply flawed, that we kind of get woven in throughout the story, just I loved the back and forth from between French and English, and I loved the sort of like French court system. I don't know how true that is to how France's court system is. I know about America's, but I just thought it was so genius, and Justine Triet did an incredible job on this film. Apparently, she and Sandra have worked together before in a film called Sybil, which now I really want to watch because I just am so taken by and gripped by Anatomy of a Fall. I've not stopped thinking about it. It has been up here since I've seen it. I have thought about Anatomy of a Fall, Poor Things, and Zone of Interest every day since seeing them. Every day, just a little right up here. I am so enthralled by Anatomy of a Fall. I think it has done something that I've never seen a courtroom drama, murder mystery type of film do, in that it plays tricks on the viewer. It messes with the viewer. It's not just, oh, did she do it or did she not? It's did she do it? Did he do it? Was it an accident? Did the son see something? Well, he didn't see anything because he's blind. But everything is up for debate. Everything is up for question. Everything is up to interpretation. Everything's just kind of lost. Also, I'm really weirdly attracted to the defense attorney. So I liked them. I also liked the winter and the snow again. It felt really like idyllic, but like in an eerie way because death. But I loved Anatomy of a Fall. I hope it wins something. Maybe best director. I don't think Hüller will win. I think I've pronounced her name 3 different ways in this video, but I don't think Hüller will win best actress. But also, can we talk about Sandra Hüller being the lead actress in 2 Best Picture noms? I can't wait to see what she does next because I'll be watching it. But anyways, if you're still watching, comment what your favorite film was of 2023, whether it was on this list or not, and maybe comment a film that you're looking forward to in 2024. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts and feedback and who you think is going to win the Oscars, and I will see you guys very soon. Hope you guys are staying safe, happy, and healthy, and I'll see you next time.